Let's begin with a truth that many people don't realize. The energy you feel throughout the day isn't always real energy. It might just be stress. A lot of us are walking around doing our best to keep up with life, unaware that what's powering us isn't vitality, but adrenaline. And here's the problem. Adrenaline is a survival mechanism, not a sustainable fuel. You're not thriving on it, you're simply coping. Think about it. When you wake up already dreading your to-do list, your brain triggers a chemical response. Cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, spikes. You feel wired, alert, maybe even productive for a few hours. But that sharpness you feel, it's not clarity, it's hypervigilance. Your nervous system is on high alert. You're not calm or centered, you're braced for battle. The issue is that in today's fast-paced world, this battle mode has become the new normal. We've normalized the rush of morning coffee to jolt us awake, the urgency of deadlines, the background noise of emails and social media, all of it keeping us in a constant low-level fight or flight state. And while our biology is incredible at handling short bursts of stress, it's not built for chronic overdrive. When your stress response is stuck in the on position, your body starts to break down. And the first sign of that breakdown, fatigue. Now here's where the deception gets even more subtle. Many people mistake that stress-fueled push as motivation. You feel like you're being productive, you're getting things done, you're checking boxes, but inside, your body is paying a price. Your blood pressure rises, your digestion slows, your immune system weakens, your brain fogs. You start forgetting things, snapping at people, struggling to sleep. And despite all your effort, despite feeling like you're always on, you feel perpetually tired. This is what I call adrenal-driven living. It's not fueled by rest or real nourishment. It's powered by internal emergency alarms. And over time, those alarms wear out your nervous system. Your adrenal glands, responsible for producing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, start to misfire. You either produce too much at the wrong time or too little when you actually need it. This creates the roller coaster. Morning fatigue, midday crashes, late night wiredness. You're exhausted but can't sleep. You're tired but your brain won't stop spinning. Sound familiar? The key insight here is this. Energy doesn't come from pressure, it comes from alignment. When you're living in a way that honors your body's needs, real food, consistent rest, meaningful connection, natural movement, you generate steady, clean, grounded energy. But when your energy is hijacked by constant mental stress, your biology suffers. Even if you're sleeping, eating, and doing everything right, you'll still feel depleted because your nervous system is stuck in overdrive. This is why some of the most tired people I meet aren't lazy or unmotivated. They're actually the most disciplined. The ones who push through pain, ignore signs of burnout, and grind through fatigue. We've glorified this mindset. But resilience doesn't mean constant productivity. It means having the wisdom to know when to rest, when to move, when to say no, and when to slow down. That's real strength. And here's the philosophical piece. Living this way, constantly driven by adrenaline, disconnects you from your body's deeper intelligence. You stop hearing its whispers. Hunger becomes something you ignore. Sleep becomes optional. Breath becomes shallow. And the body, which is constantly trying to protect you, eventually speaks louder through fatigue, anxiety, burnout, or illness. At some point, your body will ask you to listen. And the longer you ignore it, the louder that message becomes. So what do we do about it? We start by shifting our relationship to energy itself. Instead of asking, how can I push harder today? We ask, where can I create space for recovery? Instead of fueling ourselves with urgency, we start cultivating calm. We step out of crisis mode and into coherence. And this isn't just a feel-good concept, it's biological. Studies in heart rate variability, brainwave coherence, and hormonal balance all show that when the nervous system is regulated, energy becomes more efficient. You get more done with less effort. This kind of energy feels different. It's not the caffeinated buzz, it's not the late night second wind. It's grounded, it's clear, it's sustainable. And the beautiful part is, the more you live this way, the more your body begins to trust you again. It learns that it's safe to relax, to restore, to regenerate. So if you're feeling tired all the time, don't just ask what you're missing, ask what you're running on. Is it real vitality, or is it just another surge of stress chemicals pushing you forward? Because long-term health can't be built on short-term survival tactics. Here's the truth. You don't need more stimulation, you need restoration. Real energy doesn't come from forcing the body to perform. It comes from creating a life where the body no longer feels it has to fight. Let's talk about something that most people underestimate when it comes to energy. Sleep. I don't mean the number of hours you spend in bed. I mean the quality of your body's ability to recover. Because if you feel tired all the time, chances are you're not actually resting, you're just lying down. Here's the paradox. You can go to bed early, wake up late, and still drag through the day like you didn't sleep at all. That's not a sign of laziness or low willpower. It's a red flag that your body isn't repairing the way it's supposed to. You see, sleep is not just a passive state. It's a deeply intelligent biological process. During deep sleep and REM sleep, your brain consolidates memory, your tissues regenerate, your immune system recalibrates, and your hormones reset. In essence, your body is doing some of its most important work while you sleep. But in order for that repair to happen, you need more than just time, you need a hygienic sleep environment. Most people are practicing what I call poor sleep hygiene, and it's no surprise. We end our day scrolling under bright screens, watching emotionally charged news, or catching up on late night emails. We eat too close to bedtime, keep erratic sleep schedules, and wonder why we wake up more tired than when we went to sleep. Now let's look at this through the lens of physiology. Melatonin is the hormone responsible for making you sleepy. It's your body's natural signal that it's time to wind down. But melatonin is highly sensitive to light, especially blue light from screens. So when you're exposed to phones, tablets, or TV late at night, your brain doesn't get the memo that it's nighttime. Your internal clock, or circadian rhythm, becomes confused. Instead of winding down, your body stays alert. Cortisol, the hormone that should be lowest at night, remains elevated. And this disrupts the entire architecture of your sleep cycle. It's not just about falling asleep. It's about staying in the right stages of sleep long enough to heal. Light sleep is easily disrupted, and without a healthy descent into slow wave and REM sleep, the body doesn't get to perform the deeper forms of repair. That's why you may wake up multiple times at night without even realizing it. The body keeps getting pulled to the surface before it's done healing. And here's the cost. When your body doesn't complete that healing cycle, you wake up in a deficit. You start your day not neutral, but depleted. And then, of course, you reach for coffee or sugar to prop yourself up. But as we discussed earlier, those are short-term boosts. They don't replace what sleep was supposed to do. Over time, you accumulate what's known as sleep debt. And that's one of the most common and overlooked reasons people feel tired all the time. Well, let's take a psychological view. Your nervous system needs safety to relax. If you're going to bed with unresolved anxiety, mental clutter, or emotional tension, your brain remains on guard. Even while sleeping, parts of your subconscious stay alert. This hypervigilance, often tied to chronic stress, trauma, or even just racing thoughts, blocks deep sleep. And that's where the deeper conversation begins. Because many people treat sleep as the end of the day, but it's actually the foundation of the next one. So how do we fix this? It starts with rhythm. Your body loves predictability when it comes to sleep. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time each day resets your circadian clock. Think of it as syncing your internal calendar. Darkness tells your body it's time to rest. Morning light tells your body it's time to rise. But you must give your body these cues. Dim the lights an hour before bed. Power down screens and avoid stimulating activity. Let your nervous system slide into calm. Create a pre-sleep ritual. Doesn't have to be complicated. A warm shower, soft music, a few deep breaths, or 5 minutes of journaling. Just something that signals to your brain, we are done for the day. And yes, what you do during the day matters too. Natural sunlight in the morning, movement, proper nutrition. All of it influences how well you sleep at night. And here's something often overlooked. Your bedroom should be a temple of rest. Cool temperature, total darkness, and silence. These aren't luxuries. They're biological requirements. Your body responds to environment. Treat it like a sacred space, not an extension of your office or entertainment center. Because when you start honoring sleep, something powerful happens. Your mornings feel lighter. Your thoughts feel clearer. Your body feels stronger. Not because you changed your diet or added another workout, but because you finally allowed your body to recover. So the next time you're dragging through your day, ask yourself, Did I truly rest, or did I just check out for a few hours? There's a difference between being unconscious and being restored. In the end, energy isn't created during the day, it's earned the night before. Your sleep is not a luxury. It's the engine that powers everything else. Respect it, and your body will repay you with clarity, calm, and vitality. Let's shift our focus to something that often hides in plain sight when we talk about fatigue. Nutrition. More specifically, I'm talking about nutrient deficiency, not starvation. Not even poor eating habits in the traditional sense. I'm referring to a body that is well fed, but undernourished. A body that gets calories, but not the essential compounds it needs to produce energy. This is one of the silent causes of chronic fatigue. Your cells are simply running out of raw materials. Now, at a glance, many people assume that if they eat 3 meals a day, they must be getting everything they need. But here's the truth. In the modern food system, quantity does not guarantee quality. You can consume a large volume of food and still be deficient in key nutrients like B12, magnesium, iron, or vitamin D. These aren't optional extras. These are the cofactors, the building blocks, and the spark plugs that drive every cellular process in your body. Without them, your metabolism slows, your muscles weaken, your brain fogs, and your mood dips. Let's take one of the most fundamental of these, vitamin B12. It plays a critical role in forming red blood cells and in energy production at the mitochondrial level. A deficiency here means your cells literally don't get enough oxygen, and that translates into systemic fatigue. And it doesn't just affect vegans or vegetarians. Many people, especially as they age, lose the ability to absorb B12 efficiently due to changes in stomach acid or gut health. So you may be eating it and still not reaping its benefits. And there's magnesium, often called the master mineral. It's involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including ATP production, your body's primary energy molecule. When magnesium is low, everything from your muscle function to your sleep to your stress response becomes compromised. Yet surveys consistently show that a large portion of the population is magnesium deficient, especially those under chronic stress or consuming highly processed diet. Iron is another big one, particularly for women. It's essential for oxygen transport, and without it, your blood can't carry fuel efficiently to your tissues. That leads to not just fatigue, but weakness, irritability, and reduced cognitive function. And here's the kicker. Many people walk around with normal iron levels on paper, but still feel exhausted because their iron storage is too low for optimal function. Vitamin D is another player in this orchestra. Known mostly for bone health, vitamin D is also a key regulator of immune function, hormone balance, and energy levels. Yet, due to indoor lifestyles, sunscreen use, and geographic location, deficiencies are rampant, even in sunny climates. And when your vitamin D levels are low, fatigue often shows up long before any bone issues. What's important to understand is that these deficiencies don't always scream, they whisper. You may not get a dramatic symptom that sends you to the ER. You may just feel off, a little more tired than usual, a bit more irritable, slower to recover from workouts, less focused at work, and you might chalk it up to age, stress, or just being busy. But beneath the surface, your body's trying to tell you something. It's running on an empty tank. So how does this tie into psychological health and deeper human behavior? Because energy, true energy, is a foundation for motivation. When your cells are fueled properly, your brain starts to work differently. You don't just feel physically better, you make better decisions, you regulate emotions more efficiently, and you experience life with more clarity and purpose. But when you're deficient, your psychology begins to shift. It becomes harder to maintain willpower, optimism, and resilience. Not because your mindset is weak, but because your biology is drained. This is why a purely mental approach to fatigue often falls short. You can't affirm your way out of a magnesium deficiency. You can't meditate your way through chronic iron loss. The brain and the body are part of the same system. And when one is undernourished, the other suffers too. And here's the deeper layer. Many people have normalized these symptoms. They've accepted that feeling tired, foggy, or emotionally flat is just part of being an adult. But it's not. It's a sign that your system is out of balance. And balance begins at the cellular level with the nutrients your body uses to build, repair, and energize. So what's the takeaway? Start getting curious. Don't just assume you're fine because you eat regularly. Ask deeper questions. Consider lab testing, even basic panels that include vitamin D, B12, ferritin, and magnesium. Pay attention to how your body responds to different foods. And remember, fatigue is often your body's way of whispering for help before it starts screaming for it. Because energy isn't just about what you do, it's about what you absorb. When your body is nourished at the core, your life begins to rise from that foundation. Let your vitality be built from within, one molecule at a time. Let's talk about one of the most silent, invisible thieves of energy, and that's chronic stress. Not the kind of stress that comes from a missed appointment or a tight deadline. I'm talking about the deep, lingering type that seeps into your body, your thoughts, and your sense of safety. The kind of stress that never really turns off. You might carry it so long that it starts to feel like you're normal, but your body knows better. It pays the price. And here's what many people don't realize. Stress isn't just emotional, it's profoundly physical. When you're under stress, your body enters what's called a fight or flight mode. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism. Your adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline, your heart rate increases, your blood pressure rises, and non-essential functions like digestion and immune response are temporarily dialed down. That's fine if you're escaping danger. It's not fine when you're living like this every day. Because when stress becomes chronic, your system stays in that heightened state. Cortisol, which should rise in the morning and fall at night, remains elevated, or in some cases gets so overworked, it crashes entirely. That imbalance in cortisol affects everything. It throws off your blood sugar, disrupts your sleep, weakens your immune system, and depletes your nutrients. Your body begins running at a deficit, always spending more than it's able to replenish. That's one of the core reasons why people feel tired, even when they've technically done nothing. Let's examine another crucial but often ignored reason you may feel tired all the time. Lack of movement. Now, I know this may seem counterintuitive. When you're exhausted, the last thing your mind tells you to do is get up and move. You think, I need to rest, not walk. But here's the paradox. Movement creates energy. It doesn't drain it. And I'm not talking about high intensity workouts or marathon runs. I'm talking about the basic, consistent rhythm of physical activity woven into your day. The human body was designed to move. Our ancestors didn't have to set aside 30 minutes to exercise. Movement was embedded into their survival. They walked, lifted, climbed, squatted, and carried as part of everyday life. This wasn't optional. It was built into the very blueprint of our biology. Fast forward to today, and many of us spend 8-10 hours a day sitting at desks, in cars, on couches, rarely activating the very systems that fuel vitality. When your muscles are underused, when your circulation slows, when your lungs don't expand regularly, your entire physiological state becomes sluggish. Blood flow declines. Oxygen delivery suffers. Lymphatic drainage is impaired. It's not just physical, it's biochemical. Without movement, your mitochondria, your energy factories inside your cells, start to atrophy. You don't just feel tired, you are tired on a cellular level. Now here's where the psychological component comes in. Fatigue creates a kind of mental inertia. The less you move, the less you want to move. And the less you want to move, the more your energy levels continue to spiral downward. It becomes a cycle. Tiredness breeds inactivity, and inactivity deepens tiredness. This is where discipline becomes more important than motivation. Because in the beginning, you won't feel like moving. But if you do it anyway, consistently, you will unlock a wellspring of natural energy. Let's not forget that movement isn't just a physical act, it's deeply tied to your emotional state. Studies have shown that low activity levels are strongly correlated with depression and anxiety. When you move your body, you don't just release endorphins, you process emotions. You shake off stress. You regulate hormones like serotonin and dopamine that directly affect mood, focus, and motivation. In many ways, movement is a form of internal housekeeping, keeps the whole system in balance. And this doesn't have to mean going to the gym or following a rigid fitness plan. It can be as simple as walking 20 minutes in the morning, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, doing light stretching before bed. Even a short burst of activity, like dancing to a song in your living room, can reset your physiology in minutes. The key is consistency. Your body responds to what you do most often, not what you do occasionally. Here's something else to think about. Physical activity also regulates blood sugar. That's a big deal when we're talking about energy. When your blood sugar spikes and crashes due to inactivity and poor diet, it creates extreme highs and lows in your energy levels. You might feel wired for an hour, then crash into that 3 p.m. slump. But consistent movement helps your cells become more insulin sensitive, stabilizing your blood sugar curve. That means fewer crashes, more stamina, and more focus throughout the day. Movement also supports lymphatic flow, an underrated but critical piece of immune and energy function. Unlike your cardiovascular system, which has the heart as a pump, your lymphatic system has no such organ. It relies entirely on muscle contraction to circulate. If you're sedentary, your lymph becomes stagnant, toxins build up, and inflammation increases. Over time, that slow buildup drags your entire system down, physically, mentally, emotionally. And perhaps the most powerful benefit of movement is this: it reconnects you to your body. In a world where we live so much in our heads, overthinking, planning, worrying, movement grounds us. It brings awareness back into the physical self. It reminds you that you are more than your thoughts. You are a living, breathing organism that thrives through rhythm, action, and engagement with life. And every step you take toward movement is a step back into that vital connection. So, if you're feeling chronically tired, ask yourself honestly, am I moving enough? Not just exercising occasionally, but moving daily, purposefully, rhythmically. Is your body being used in the way it was designed to be used? Because here's the truth. Energy is not just about resting more. It's about moving more, wisely, gently, regularly. Your body's a machine built for motion. And when you honor that design, it rewards you with strength, clarity, and resilience. Movement isn't just a remedy, it's a responsibility. Walk, stretch, breathe, engage, because when you move your body, you awaken your life. Let's explore one more piece of this energy puzzle: sleep. Not just quantity, but quality. Because if you're waking up every day still tired, dragging yourself out of bed despite getting enough hours of rest, then your body is telling you something. The sleep you're getting isn't doing its job. And when sleep fails, everything else begins to unravel. Sleep is not passive. It's not simply downtime. It's the most active, restorative phase your body experiences each day. During deep sleep, your brain clears out waste, your muscles repair, your immune system strengthens, and your hormones reset. It's essentially your body's overnight tune-up. But when sleep is shallow, disrupted, or insufficiently timed, that maintenance gets skipped. You're waking up with yesterday's fatigue still in your system, and over time, that builds into a sense of chronic exhaustion. Now, here's where it gets philosophical. Most people think of sleep as a luxury, something they'll catch up on later or sacrifice for productivity. But what they're really sacrificing isn't just rest. It's clarity, emotional regulation, and cellular health. When you deprive yourself of sleep, you're compromising the very foundation upon which energy is built. Sleep affects memory, judgment, decision-making, metabolism, even how you process emotion. In fact, studies show that just one night of poor sleep can reduce your brain's ability to accurately read facial expressions and social cues, leaving you more irritable, more reactive, and less resilient. Sleep is deeply linked to the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour biological clock that governs every process in your body, from hormone release to digestion to body temperature. And this rhythm thrives on consistency. That means going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time each day. Irregular sleep, staying up late one night, sleeping in the next, confuses your internal clock. It's like constantly switching time zones without ever leaving home, and your energy levels pay the price. The modern world doesn't help. Blue light from screens disrupts melatonin, the hormone responsible for inducing sleep. Late night caffeine, heavy meals, even mental overstimulation from scrolling or binge watching. These all tell your brain, stay awake, even when your body is crying for rest. We've trained ourselves to ignore the natural cues of fatigue in favor of artificial stimulation. But you can't trick biology forever. Eventually, the debt comes due. Sleep isn't just for restoring the body. It's also critical for detoxifying the mind. During REM sleep, your brain processes emotions, consolidates memories, and integrates the experiences of the day. Without this, your mental landscape becomes cluttered. You feel scattered, foggy, emotionally volatile. It becomes harder to focus, to be creative, to connect meaningfully with others. You might think your exhaustion is purely physical, but it could be your mind simply begging for a break. Here's something else we don't talk about enough. Sleep is also a mirror. It reflects your lifestyle, your stress, your choices. If you're wired at night and sluggish in the morning, it may not just be a sleep issue. It may be a life rhythm issue. Are you overloaded with stimulation? Are you going to bed with unresolved thoughts? Are you living in alignment with your values and energy boundaries? Because sleep doesn't lie. It shows you where your system is out of balance. Now let's talk about what this means for your long-term health. Chronic sleep deprivation has been linked to heart disease, diabetes, obesity, depression, and even cancer. That's not fear-mongering, it's science. Your body needs sleep the way it needs water, oxygen, and nutrients. Without it, it begins to break down. Slowly at first, then more rapidly. Energy crashes become the new normal. Burnout becomes the baseline, and you start to accept it as just the way it is. But it doesn't have to be. You can reclaim your nights. You can begin to protect your sleep like it's sacred, because it is. Start by creating a consistent bedtime routine. Dim the lights an hour before sleep. Turn off screens. Read, stretch, listen to calming music. Let your body ease into the rhythm of rest. Keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. These small adjustments send powerful signals to your nervous system. It's time to power down. Sleep is one of the most natural, most powerful tools for healing and energizing your body, and yet it's one of the most neglected. In our obsession with productivity, we've devalued the very thing that makes productivity sustainable. But energy doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from knowing when to stop, when to replenish, when to honor the body's need for restoration. And that's the invitation I leave you with tonight. Because sleep is not a pause, it's a process, a sacred one. And when you sleep with intention, you don't just wake up rested, you wake up renewed, ready, alive.